All right, so some people are really talking about how interest rates are really killing the housing market right now and how the Fed is 100% responsible for it. But I'd say they're not seeing the whole picture. Make sure you watch this video so you can get a good idea of what's really happening right now in the housing market. All right, what's up, everybody? I'm Rob Scow, and I'm here with eXp Realty in Southern Maryland, and my goal is to help you move to Southern Maryland and make it so much easier for you. So if that's something you want to do, make sure you click the subscribe button, click the little bell so you're notified every single time we put out new content about moving to Southern Maryland. You can also scroll down to the first comment, click on that link, and it will schedule a Zoom meeting one-on-one with me where we can talk about your home buying needs when you move to Southern Maryland. And last but not least, use that contact information below. Call me, text me, whatever, and I'd be happy to help you make some decisions about moving to Southern Maryland and about the housing market in general. All right, so today what we're going to be talking about is just the general housing market throughout the nation right now. And always, if you're looking to move to an area, make sure you consult with a realtor to get the idea of what that housing market is doing specifically. Some markets see things a little bit earlier, and some markets start feeling the effects of different housing trends a little bit later. So like I said in the beginning, one of the biggest things that a lot of people are saying right now is that the Federal Reserve has ruined everything for the housing market right now. And the reason why they're saying that is because the Feds have been rising interest rates, which has led to rising mortgage rates. Now, I'm going to back that up a little bit because while I agree the rising of interest rates has led to the rise of mortgage rates, it's not hand in hand. There's actually been times the Fed doesn't actually set mortgage rates. The Fed does set lending rates, and it can affect the mortgage rates, but it's not a hand-in-hand type of thing. The biggest thing, the absolute biggest thing that is affecting mortgage rates right now is the pace of inflation. And the Federal Reserve has said its number one goal is to reduce inflation by any means possible, and that could mean some damage to the economy along the way. So with that in mind, let's really dive into what's going on in the housing market right now, and if we're seeing, a crash, if we're seeing a correction, or what I've been seeing a lot of people call it a rebalancing right now. So the very first thing I want to look at is going to be this Redfin article you can see on the screen right now, and the headline really jumps out at you. It says right there that San Francisco, again a local market, saw home prices actually decrease 7% year over year during the 4 weeks ending September 4th, which is a crazy stat in itself because we've been so used to seeing so many increases throughout this market that seeing something decrease really draws that headline in and makes you think, this something must really be happening. But when we dig into this a little bit more, what I see happening here and what I'm really noticing is that yes, home prices are starting to slow. Yes, demand is starting to diminish a little bit, but it's rebalancing and it's not as crazy and wild and hot as it was before. I think it just means you need to look at this as a whole picture. So I'm going to go through some of these charts, and I want to not really go over the numbers of them per se, but I do want to talk about when we start seeing a dip compared to previous years. So looking at this median sales price, you can see right here in this area is where we start to see that median sales price dip. And that was right around when the interest rates got the highest. And it was a pretty precipitous drop when that happened. And you can see it's a lot more level in these ones. And actually in this one right here in 2020, right after the pandemic, when those mortgage rates were super low, we could really see it start going back up. So this drop right here is definitely coinciding with those mortgage rates. And if you keep looking through all these charts, median asking price, you can see right here, here's that drop again, coinciding with those mortgage rates. So yes, the Fed rising lending rates and affecting the mortgage rates has 100% cooled off the housing market and has definitely led to rebalancing. Okay, so I want to go back into, and so that information there just kind of helped frame this, what I want to talk to you about right now. And I'm not a real estate agent just trying to tell you to get back into the market or buy this or sell that. I'm telling you as someone, that is studying the different trends of the market throughout the cycle of the market. I don't want you to say and see that right now is the time to panic and sell because we're in a crash or buy because we're in a crash. I want you to understand that as a whole, this is just a rebalancing. It's getting back to normal. It is going to 100% feel like a crash to some, especially if you're someone that missed listing their house, in early 2022 or late 2020, and you thought you could get $800,000 for a house, and now that realtor's coming out and telling you it's probably worth $725,000. That feels like a crash, but it's not. It's a recalibration of what that market is in your area. So this little clip right here from Zillow is a really big one. This paragraph right here. This is something I really want people to say or to see, is that even in markets that are seeing falling prices on a monthly basis, the dips are nowhere near enough to undo the rapid appreciation that occurred since the onset of the pandemic. So I really want you to understand that. I know that it's probably hard to hear that maybe if you're trying to sell your house, you're not getting as much as you thought you would 8 months ago, a year ago, but you're still having so much equity in your house compared to the beginning of the pandemic that it's still an amazing time to sell your house. And honestly, it's an amazing time to enter the housing market too if you're a buyer as well. And to be honest, I think to really hammer home this point, I want to show you this last graph right here. This is the housing market and median home sale prices for the United States since 1965. I think so often we get caught up in the, what am I doing right now phase of a housing market. And when we think about houses, unless you're a flipper or someone like that, you're really thinking about it as a long-term investment. Over 5 is probably the minimum, 10, 20, 30 years, you're going to hold this asset and hopefully it's going to appreciate enough that you feel like you've made a gain. It's outpaced inflation and all that kind of stuff. But looking at this chart here, a lot of people are going to focus on this huge jump right here at the end. So I agree. This is a huge jump, and a historic jump. It's not seen anywhere else on this graph. But if you just follow this line all the way up from 1965 all the way up to 2020, this blip that happens right here, this is the Great Recession, down from, the highs of 2007 down to the lows of 2009 and continue down there. But if we were to continue this trend right about here, the average line would put us right about where Q3 2021 would have been. So that average home sale price of $411,200. So what I'm saying is I could see either this continue to flatten out or even dip lower, but still stay in that trend. And so what I'm saying, I agree that there could be a rebalancing, and the rebalancing can feel really painful to people in the market right now. It's in that historical average. We're going to continue to see, for the most part, if you hold it long enough, you're going to continue to see that appreciation happen.
All right, so hopefully this information was helpful. You use that contact information below, call me, text me, and I'd be happy to help you. And like I said before, scroll down, click on the link, and it'll schedule a Zoom meeting with me, and we can talk about your home buying needs in Solomons. And last but not least, if you have not yet, and you find this content helpful, make sure you click the subscribe button and click the little bell so you're notified every single time we put out new content. Hope to see you on the next video.